Hey everyone, James Niggemeyer here. Thank you for tuning back into my YouTube channel. Today I want to do another episode for my playlist Tackle Prep Tip. And this is just going to be a quick tip on what I like to do when I'm fishing baits with skirts that are moving a lot, whether it's a chatterbait or spinnerbait or swim jig, something like that. Something that's really probably you might think would be insignificant, but I feel like makes a difference. Before I get right into it, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It's really kind of the best thing you could do to help me grow my channel. And if you like this video, you get anything out of it, please give me a thumbs up. And drop a comment down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this video or any other video that you watch that I've made. And I'd certainly appreciate it. It's great to hear some feedback and have some communication with everybody out there. So today I'm going to do a quick tackle prep tip on what I do when I'm fishing skirted baits that are moving in the water. I mean, all baits are moving in the water, whether you're fishing a bottom bouncing jig. But when I mean moving in the water, I mean at a speed and where you're fishing it more horizontally through the water column. And so a spinnerbait, a chatterbait type lure, or a swim jig. So if you can see, this one's kind of straight out of the package. And this looks really kind of flat right here. While the look isn't preferable, but what I want to do is I want to try to engage more of this outside skirting material with the water. And one of the ways that you can do that is by trimming it in more of a teardrop shape or more of an arrow type shape. Maybe those are two different shapes, but what I'm basically trying to do is trim the outside edge. And what that'll do is it'll make it shorter. And as you go around, those outside pieces are going to get shorter. You can see what I'm doing there. It's just making them shorter. And what happens when you do that is essentially, and you don't want to you want to kind of cut it at an angle like that, but you want to leave those inner pieces a little bit longer. Basically, you just want the outer pieces shortened up. And then I'll come down and trim down lower like this and kind of give it basically like a little bit of a V shape. But what I'm trying to do essentially is, and I like to try to remove that squared off look that it has out of the package. And what I'm trying to do is by shortening these outer pieces, you can see kind of what I'm doing there. By shortening those outer pieces, you are essentially making them more susceptible to the water. And when the water comes over it, when you're reeling it through the water column, basically it's going to be easier to engage those pieces. They're going to catch water because the pieces are smaller. It doesn't take as much to move those silicone pieces. And I know you might be thinking, wow, you're really getting technical here. And it's just something that I like to do. I feel like when I do this type of thing, essentially what will happen is you'll have just a bait that comes more to life, but also I will also have a bait that I'm more confident in. It just looks more natural. A fish or any type of prey item, whether it's a bluegill or a shad or what have you, kind of has that torpedo shape. Maybe a little bit more narrow at the top, a little narrow at the back, and gets kind of wide in the middle. Most of what swims in the water column, horizontally through the water column, has that narrow, wide, narrow shape. And that's what I'm after. But on top of that, the shorter you make those skirt materials, the better they are and the easier it is for those skirting materials to move when the water comes over it. And it'll cause them to vibrate more, cause them to just have more overall movement, kind of like a fish swimming through the water. As it's moving through there, that's what you want. And whether you're doing it with a chatterbait style lure or a spinnerbait or a swim jig, again, just kind of go around the edges like this. And I think you guys kind of get the idea. Leaving some of the middle sections a little bit longer and the outer sections a little shorter. And that'll give you that kind of V shape so that you can engage more of that skirting material and get more action out of your bait. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to put a trailer on this. But this is really kind of what I'm after. I want to be able to engage that. I'd probably trim that a little bit more. This is probably done a little bit more to illustrate the example further. I mean, I want to have a bait that starts out narrow, goes wide, and then narrow again, and that looks like something that's, you know, natural to the fish. They're used to that bait fish profile. But again, I think probably more important than that is just being able to shorten those skirting materials so that when water comes over it, it just quivers in the water, giving it more lifelike look. And again, kind of going back to the confidence thing, it's just super important that when you're fishing a bait, you're fishing it with the utmost confidence. When you look at it, you say, yeah, I think I could get bit on that. And that way you're mentally more engaged on each and every cast. You're fishing it well, and a lot of times when you're fishing a bait well, you get more bites. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. Just a quick tackle prep tip on how I like to trim my skirts for horizontally moving baits. Until next time, thanks for watching and good fishing.